The games industry is going through some fundamental changes, and we've seen both Xbox and PlayStation hint at some major shifts in where they publish their games. 4 titles from Xbox's arsenal of studios are now part of Microsoft's third-party offering. PlayStation has seen roaring success with Helldivers 2 launching day and date on PC. Considering the spiraling costs of AAA development for its cinematic blockbusters, it's likely we'll see a shift in PlayStation's exclusive strategy too. We've seen PS5 Pro specs leak, marking the mid-gen upgrade point of this console generation. Xbox President Sarah Bond teased that Microsoft is working on the largest technical leap in a hardware generation, and confirmed we'll be seeing new Xbox hardware by the end of this year, likely the all-digital Xbox Series X, which has also leaked recently. Phil Spencer said he'd like to see an Xbox Handheld, as well as Epic and Steam stores on the Xbox platform. So in this video, we're going to try and ascertain a better understanding of just what is going on with Xbox and PlayStation, and most importantly, what this means for us as gamers. What's up everybody, my name's Deadly Headley and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I'm a graphic designer, I have a journalism degree, and I love talking about video games. If you've been here before, welcome back my friends. I know it's been a while. Truth be told, my mental and physical health have been somewhat challenged over the last few months. On top of some stressful things going on in my personal life, I've been dealing with a chronic pain condition, which, as this statement implies, means that my day-to-day life is pain. It's been a lot, but with that said, we're back in the room. And if you haven't clicked off this video yet, thank you, I appreciate you. Since I last uploaded, I've started a brand new show called the Xbox Series Podcast with my good friends Asa and Gamsley. We go live every Thursday on YouTube, and you can find us after the fact on Apple and Spotify. Stick around until the end, I'll tell you where you can find us, but you can also find the show and my socials in the link tree and the pinned comment down below. If you enjoy the video, make sure you hit the like button as it massively helps grow the channel. And if you're new here, consider subscribing. We're well on our way to hitting 1,000 subs, which is crazy to me. I reckon that's more than enough housekeeping, don't you? Let's get into it. Xbox has had a tumultuous start to 2024, after spiraling its core fanbase into the choppy waters of rampant speculation. Initially sparked by rumour of Hi-Fi Rush launching on PlayStation and Switch, before being escalated massively by talk of Sea of Thieves doing the same thing, the straw that finally broke the camel's back for the Xbox fanbase was a series of reports that alluded to Starfield, Indiana Jones, and even Hellblade 2 being considered for release on PlayStation. This came as a huge blow to fans that have been loyal to Microsoft's gaming platform, as these reports came just a few months after the tech giant spent more than $70 billion acquiring both Activision and Bethesda. The latter being a move that, in the words of Xbox head Phil Spencer back in 2021, was about delivering great exclusive games that ship on platforms where Game Pass exists. In a bid to stave off the impending PR disaster fueled by out-of-control rumour and doubt, the Xbox leadership team held a business update in the form of a podcast, which, if, like me, you're the child of divorce, the anticipation of this event may have recalled the moment mum and dad sat you down to tell you things were going to be a little bit different from now on.
What?
Phil Spencer revealed that 4 games were going to be published on competitive platforms, those being Sea of Thieves, Hi-Fi Rush, Pentiment, and Grounded. Spencer also carefully navigated the question of Starfield and Indiana Jones going to other platforms, remarking that they are not among the 4 games being considered. It's worth noting at this stage, those games have not been definitively ruled out, because both in business and politics, executives can never say never. The problem is that the console market isn't growing. This stagnation, combined with rising development costs, is a crisis point for the industry. Sea of Thieves is sailing its way onto PlayStation because its developer Rare needs to grow. It's being sustained by its current player base, but in order to survive, it needs to keep growing. The best way of doing this is by reaching a new audience. The issue for Microsoft, though, is that Xbox as a brand was already in a state of doubt among prominent media outlets, and the optics of this move don't exactly help its public perception. As an advocate of the platform, I find this frustrating. Every first-party title Xbox announces going forward is essentially going to be Schrodinger's exclusive. Until Xbox goes definitive on which platform each game is going to launch on, this uncertainty will be used to drive slow news days for gaming journalists. This has a negative effect on fan morale, as well as brand perception for more casual gamers with less staunch platform loyalties. There seems to be this sentiment surrounding Xbox as a brand that stinks of a gatekeeping mentality. Xbox can't have its own blockbuster exclusives. It can't do what PlayStation does because it's not big enough. It has to stay in quote-unquote last place. When Indiana Jones gameplay was revealed earlier this year, it was met with complaints and outcry about the game not being available on PS5.
Number one, I was very bummed out to find out this was an Xbox exclusive. I guess other people knew that already.
No, I was very sad about that.
Because Bethesda's owned by Microsoft.
Yeah,
so.
which makes sense. But
Sure.
I want it on my PS5.
Console.
Still bums
That's
me
true.
out.
You can stream
You
it.
don't need an Xbox console. It's on Game Pass day one.
Yeah,
But I
you
don't
can
want to
stream
play it on a PC.
I want to try it on my
You don't have
PlayStation.
to. You can play it on just your internet.
I want to play it on my
Ray, I
PlayStation.
spent so much
I'm
money.
bummed out about
I
it.
spent so
Fine.
much money.
I'm just saying I'm bummed out about it, right? That's fine. It's fine. Okay, it's fine.
You know what? I'm sure Xbox users wish, some games on PlayStation.
for
were
sure,
different.
for sure.
We want
Yeah,
a
but
lot
that's
of
your
games.
fault for being a second-class citizen.
Oh,
So
whoa.
I have
Whoa.
Whoa, sure.
I have
Whoa,
Wait a
what?
minute.
Hey.
The reason why Indiana Jones is, for the time being, exclusive to the Xbox ecosystem is a direct result of Microsoft buying the studio that's developing it. Moving swiftly aside from the asinine notion that there are winners and losers among the billion-dollar tech giants running the games industry, the negative sentiment towards Indiana Jones exclusivity feels somewhat nonsensical to me. In order for Xbox to grow as a platform, it will need to retain some exclusive content. Much like how Netflix, Amazon, and Disney all have content that you can't find on other streaming platforms, this is how Xbox will continue to grow its user base, by offering exclusive content on Xbox that is easy to access via Xbox Game Pass. Here's the thing though, Xbox has not, and for the time being will not, go definitive on the question of Indiana Jones and Starfield coming to PlayStation at some unspecified point in a hypothetical future. It may or may not, but until it's time for the public to know, we will never know. Look, here's how I see it. As someone who primarily games on Xbox, I don't care about seeing a title like Indiana Jones or Starfield launching on another platform at some point. I get to play it first, I get to play it via Game Pass, and I get to play it on any device that supports cloud gaming. I'm fortunate enough to have a PS5 as well as a Series X, which rarely gets turned on because I only really play Sony's first-party titles on it. If I only had a PS5 and I didn't have an Xbox, I'd be excited by the prospect of games like Starfield and Indiana Jones launching on my platform of choice. But I will never know if or when that's going to happen. So, as a consumer that likes the kind of games that Xbox makes, I know that the best place for me to play them is on Xbox or PC. Children, they're actually grown-ass men by the way, on Twitter will do their very best to make people feel bad for their platform preference, because supposedly all Xbox titles may, potentially, but probably won't, come to PlayStation at some undefined point in future. Let's be real, this kind of obnoxiousness on the behalf of a corporation is just a bit cringe. And for that reality to happen, you're going to have to wait indefinitely for every single Xbox title without knowing for certain if those games will remain exclusive to Xbox or not. Honestly, a better use of my time would just be to go and buy an Xbox. So, despite there still being a degree of uncertainty around Xbox's exclusive strategy, fans can relax in knowing that, at least for now, valuable tentpole releases like Starfield, Indiana Jones and Hellblade 2 aren't going anywhere. In some respects though, the damage has already been done. By shipping Sea of Thieves, Hi-Fi Rush, Pentiment and Grounded onto PlayStation, the precedent for Xbox to do this has now been set, paving the way for this to happen again, and we won't know for certain how much PR damage this has caused the brand. Clearly we're seeing a change in Xbox's approach to exclusivity, and I'm cautiously optimistic that Microsoft recognizes the importance of having exclusive content on Game Pass, but for the time being, Xbox has been put on notice by its fans, and the expectation going forward is that Xbox will continue to prioritize its users on console and PC. Over on PlayStation's side, we've seen substantial changes there too. A few months ago I made a video talking about PlayStation's games as a service strategy, which you can find linked up here. Since then, we've seen PlayStation launch a new live service title, Helldivers 2 on PC and PS5. It's interesting to note how rare it is for PlayStation to launch a game on PC day and date, something that Xbox has been doing for some time now. Helldivers' success on Steam has delivered a clear signal to PlayStation's leadership team.
Money!
PlayStation has its own share of challenges, following a number of game cancellations and a difficult round of layoffs. Sony's biggest hurdle, though, is the consumer expectation its first-party studios have set for its high-budget blockbuster exclusives. Sony's narrative-driven cinematic single-player experiences are getting more and more expensive to make, with Spider-Man 2 reportedly reaching development and licensing costs of more than $300 million. This might be sustainable if they were consistently the highest-selling games on the PlayStation platform, but user data shows the majority of its players are spending spending their time on larger third-party experiences like GTA Online, Fortnite, and Call of Duty, the latter of which is now owned by Microsoft. If Sony's development costs continue to soar, the risk of not hitting sales targets to cover costs becomes greater as the console market itself continues to stagnate. In short, Sony's budget problem has the potential to be a ticking time bomb. If a high-budget title falls significantly short of sales expectations, the studio behind it will be in real trouble. The solution? Sell more games on PC. Hardcore PlayStation fans aren't pleased about this. They've not yet come around to the idea that gamers on PC might get to play with their toys. Unfortunately though, the reality is that the Sony Corporation doesn't care about feelings. Just money! It feels almost inevitable that PlayStation will launch its games day and date on PC, or at very least will continue to see the gap between console and PC launch dates diminish. I can imagine the reality will be somewhere in between. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the term case-by-case basis used as we have with Xbox over the years. Right now, games industry business leaders are having to navigate a difficult tightrope. The future is very much still being ironed out, but fanbases rightly expect more clarity than what's currently being offered by either platform. While the future of software exclusivity might be somewhat up in the air for both Xbox and PlayStation, we do know that new hardware for both platforms is coming very soon. The specs for Sony's PS5 Pro were leaked in the last few weeks and corroborated by reliable insider Tom Henderson. According to the leak, the PS5 Pro boasts a 28% increase in system memory bandwidth and a GPU that can render up to 45% faster than the base model PS5, promising better ray tracing results on console. The CPU upgrade is very much iterative of the current PS5 hardware though, with the PS5 Pro achieving just a 10% improvement in CPU performance. It's worth noting that while there has been much speculation about what the PS5 Pro will mean in regards to performance at higher frame rates, Digital Foundry has confirmed it's unlikely the PS5 Pro CPU will deliver 60 frames performance modes on more demanding titles like Grand Theft Auto 6. Speaking of leaked hardware, we've also seen images of Microsoft's all-digital Xbox Series X Surface. It's worth noting that we don't know the credibility of this leak right now, but this product was referenced in some leaked documents last year. Launching an all-digital Series X feels like a weird move for me, as I only really see this console appealing to those who haven't upgraded from last gen, who may be looking for a cheaper entry point into Xbox Series hardware, but wanting something more powerful than the Xbox Series S. This could also appeal to those that already own a PS5 and again would prefer a more powerful console than the Xbox Series S as a secondary system. Xbox not having a direct competitor to the PS5 Pro could be problematic for the brand, as Sony's mid-gen upgrade boasts more capability than the current Series X. While the upgrade may be fairly minor, we can still expect to see a noticeable difference in visual fidelity when comparing the PS5 Pro with the Xbox Series X, creating further disparity for the consumer when comparing what Sony and Microsoft have to offer. There's rumour afoot to suggest that Xbox could start the next console generation as soon as 2026. It's worth noting this timeline is largely insider gossip, but we saw concrete leaks come from Microsoft itself last year suggesting that it's looking at a next generation of hardware in 2028. Video on that up here. If Xbox started the next console generation in 2026, the offering to consumers, at least in the short term, is something PlayStation couldn't directly compete with unless they were working to the same timeline. Xbox would have the opportunity to push forward with a new generation of games launched via Xbox Game Pass, including a next generation Call of Duty. This is how Microsoft can capture the zeitgeist of the casual market, the majority of which currently plays on PlayStation. There is of course a risk to this, as an early jump into a new console generation means that the next PlayStation console will likely outperform Xbox's next flagship. If Microsoft does decide to take this risk though, it could help rebalance the user base between the two platforms, which as of December 2023, the PlayStation 5 has outsold Xbox Series consoles 2-1. Right now, Xbox's focus is on growing its user base. It's why we're constantly seeing more games added to Game Pass. It's why Xbox is working to be on as many devices as possible via cloud gaming. Game Pass has become Xbox's unique selling point. This isn't surprising. If you like playing video games, but like the rest of us, you're also feeling the cost of living going up, Game Pass provides thousands of hours of gaming for a very reasonable price. The other way Xbox could grow its user base is with an Xbox Handheld. Noises about a handheld are coming from a number of reliable insiders, but again, the leaked document that I mentioned earlier, it teased a handheld. Here's where it gets even more interesting. Phil Spencer told Polygon's Chris Plant that he can't stop thinking about an Xbox handheld. Currently, devices like the Steam Deck, the Asus ROG Ally, or the Lenovo Legion Go are the only handhelds on the market capable of delivering an Xbox-like experience. Phil Spencer suggests that these devices don't go far enough though, and it seems like this could heavily influence Microsoft's next move. Spencer wants to see seamless integration between the Xbox home console experience and a portable handheld, things like a shared game library and cloud saves, attributes that are ubiquitous to the Xbox ecosystem. It's most likely we won't see an Xbox handheld launch until the next console generation starts, but the expectation is that this device will likely perform on par with the current Xbox Series S, while the next flagship home console will act as a true next generation successor to the Xbox Series X. Xbox are having to consider what a new generation of gamers looks like, as well as the market it already has. Spencer has acknowledged that the younger generation's gaming habits aren't reflective of how the console industry currently operates. The PC experience is more appealing to Gen Z and Gen Alpha because they expect all their content everywhere. Phil has also speculated putting Epic and Steam stores on Xbox hardware. His vision of opening Xbox itself up would be great for consumers, but the practicality of this is questionable, as it puts Xbox in a position where it can be undercut by its own competitors, who offer games at a lower price on their storefronts when compared to the Xbox store. The numbers don't work in Microsoft's favor here, but it's interesting to note that this is something actively on Phil Spencer's mind. The future of Xbox, quite simply, is more great games in even more places. Games like Hellblade 2, Stalker 2, Indiana Jones, and Avowed are all launching into Game Pass this year, and that's just the start. We're expecting to see Microsoft put more of its Activision Blizzard library into Game Pass, with Diablo 4 launching into the service towards the end of March, marking the first of many content drops. Xbox is yet to go definitive on this, but the expectation is that it will publish the next Call of Duty day one on Game Pass, meaning fans playing on Xbox and PC won't have to pay upfront for a Call of Duty game if they're a Game Pass subscriber. This could be a serious incentive for gamers to invest into the Xbox platform if Call of Duty is the game that they prioritize above anything else. Microsoft needs to put more focus on delivering high quality games consistently. It feels this vision is perpetually just on the horizon, but Xbox has a strong roadmap in place. The point of skepticism is whether or not it can deliver a string of games that play great on day one and deliver memorable experiences consistently. With groundbreaking studio acquisitions, a solid roadmap in place, more hardware on the way, and a phenomenal service in Game Pass, Xbox has laid strong foundations for longevity, and in my view, I think it's an awesome time to be someone who loves playing video games. Hey guys, my name's Deadly Headley and I just want to say thank you for watching. Before you go, let me tell you about the podcast I've been working on. We'd love to see you join the chat during the live show over on the Gaming Arcadia YouTube channel every Thursday. The Xbox Series podcast goes live 8 PM in the UK, 3 PM Eastern and 12 PM Pacific. At the time of recording, we're about to do our 10th episode. We've had a lot of fun on air and we're building an awesome community over there. There's a link tree in the pinned comment down below for both the podcast and my socials, so you can find everything you need to keep up with us there. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button as it helps other people like yourselves find my content, and if you're new here, consider subscribing. That's all from me today guys, I'll catch you soon. Peace.